And hello, everyone. Welcome to WD Carousel of Podcast. My name's Ian.
And I'm Crystal.
And we're going to do the next part in our Going to Disney series. We're calling this one, So You're Going to Disney. You've already made the decision to go, and you've done all the initial legwork, but now it's time to actually figure out what you're going to do now
This
that you're
is
going.
part 2 of our 3-part series.
Yes, absolutely.
And we are going to start out, I think we should do timelining this to make it a little bit easier. It almost makes me think like wedding planning. Okay, so you're this many months out, you need to plan this. This many months out, you need to plan this.
It's not that.
Hopefully slightly cheaper.
Or
but
more
people,
expensive, you know.
People can kind of go cuckoo bananas too. But
on both.
And depending on how far out you plan the trip, you might just need to rush everything together versus be able to take your time.
Yes.
But I would recommend taking your time because they're steps, and planning is one of my favorite parts of this.
Yeah, we've got like some tools we use to like have a computer help us sort things out.
The
we geek over it.
anticipation.
Yes, it's half the fun.
The
really
research. I was just complaining to Ian. I'm like, 30 days from now, we're going to be done with Disney, and I'm not going to have a Disney vacation to look forward to. And I was already feeling sad. We haven't even done Disney yet, but I was already feeling sad that Disney's going to be over.
I don't even know what to say. Like, I feel bad that you already feel bad about not being able to go. That you're already going to be done before you even get there. Like, it's a hard one for me to. It's
because we know what's going on when we go, and so we understand the emotions that come along with it, the enjoyment we're going to have, but also understanding that it's a limited time too, so. Yes. I don't live at Disney yet.
We're working on it. She is. I probably can't yet, but one day.
The first big, I'd say, benchmark, time mark that you need to be concerned about if you are going to Disney is 6 months out, or that's 180 days out. And that's when you are allowed to plan all of your table services.
Yes. Which is big because especially some of the really popular places, they fill up very quickly.
If you're wanting to do Victoria and Albert's, you won't get it.
I want to do that one at least once.
Just understand, you will not get that one. That is the only 5-diamond Michelin rated restaurant in the state of Florida.
Yes.
It's on Disney property. It's amazing.
Yes.
You can't get a reservation for it. Just
don't try. It's not worth it.
Don't break your heart. It probably won't happen.
Is that still through the Disney dining reservation system and stuff? Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Is that at Grand Floridian?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
One time we will figure out a way to do it. We will, but
I'm a self-proclaimed foodie. I'm not a real foodie. I'm just a self-proclaimed one. I would love to do that.
As long as you're not being that snobbish.
I'm not snobbish. There's food stuff.
Really good food out there. Don't get me wrong, but Victoria and Albert's, that's the dream.
Exactly.
That's the dream.
Exactly.
Do it if you can. But your first round, don't do it. It's not worth the effort and the headache to try. The other ones that are really big are the character meet and greets, specifically the ones that are the big princess ones. So you're talking Cinderella's Royal Table, you're talking Akershus in Epcot, and those ones can fill up really fast. So having 6 months out on those is
absolutely required.
Yes. Another one that comes to mind is Be Our Guest, which is the
one at the new Fantasyland.
Yep, Magic Kingdom. That's Beast's Castle, and
I walked by it. Like I didn't even get that close to it.
They just changed the dinner menu to one price. You get 3 courses, and it's a preset.
Does it come with the gray stuff, and is it delicious?
Yes, and awesome. I haven't tried the gray stuff.
I would love to try the gray stuff.
I heard it's just cookies and cream whip.
Oh, that's frustrating. Sorry, I'm okay.
I'm sorry I crushed your heart a little bit.
It's okay. It would have happened eventually.
Yeah, you'll try it and be like, wait, this tastes like undisclosed name that is dark cookies with white cream inside.
And the other part of me would be like, wait, is this even safe for me to eat? Try the grape stuff. It's delicious. I can't. I'm allergic to it. Anyway, moving on.
And that brings up a really good point, though. When
Yes.
you're making your reservations, you always want to let them know what kind of restrictions you have.
Yes, dietary restrictions. They're so good about it. And then we talked about it once or twice before.
I think we talked about it in the dining plan a little bit.
A little bit,
A little
yeah.
bit.
But when you do that, when you get to that point where you start making your reservations through Disney, always bring up your dietary restrictions because they are really good about it. They do a really good job. They'll even sometimes not the chef at some of the nicer restaurants. They'll sometimes have a second menu for you, or they'll at least come out and talk through. Somebody from the kitchen will come out and talk to you about the items that they think will be best for you, and they flag it all out, and it's a huge deal. They'll even come out and be like, "Who has a peanut allergy?" and like give you the food separately.
You have the experience on that. I don't really have any allergies.
It's last couple of times we've done that where my mom actually flagged it the first time, then I flagged it the last time. Mm-hmm. And it's been really, really good.
And that's one that you can go in and we made the reservations ahead of time, and then I went, oh yeah, Ian with his dietary restrictions, we called up Disney, and they were great about getting that on there, and very detailed too. So when we said soy, they were like, okay, well, is it the protein? Is it the oil? Is it the this? Is it the that? So they were able to get very specific to what you need.
And that always makes me feel better when you're at a restaurant. And people that have allergies, I'm preaching to the choir here, but when you get to a restaurant and the wait staff is like, I'm like, I have a peanut allergy, and they go, oh, okay. But if the wait staff says, any other legumes, or just the soy, no tree nuts, like
I like that word,
legumes. It's like those sorts of questions really help me out and make sure that I understand.
You feel more confident.
I feel more confident that they're able to accommodate what's going on. So it's really nice.
And if you are on the Disney dining plan, this qualifies for you as well. If you're not, still do it. This also includes the resort restaurants. This is including Disney Springs restaurants. You want to make sure that you have any table service down. Mm-hmm. And I know that sounds kind of ridiculous. You're trying to figure out what you're going to be hungry for 6 months later. But if you want to have a nice meal, like Kevin and I did Valentine's a couple years ago, we did the Yachtsman Steakhouse, which is where he actually used to work. Oh, and we made sure that we had the reservation, and it was wonderful, and they took care of us, and it was Valentine's, and it was sweet.
Love it. That's really cool.
If you don't plan it out, you might not get it.
Yeah, we went to, last time I was there, we went to the restaurant in France, the sit-down restaurant in France.
Okay.
And I cannot remember the name of it. Chefs de France? Is that
yes.
What it is? Chefs de France, yeah. And I went there once before, and it's really good. It's, really reasonable French cuisine. The person I was traveling with had a dietary restriction. She was a vegetarian. And a lot of the other options, there was some stuff, and France seemed to have some good choices. So
good.
We did that, and so we went, and we came in, and people were trying to get in without a reservation, and it was just like, yeah, come back at 9. Like, it was just, we just waltzed up at 6 p.m. and got a reservation because I booked it way out.
Will say, my mother, who is not very into planning anything, wanted to do Boma for breakfast one morning, which is the buffet at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and we only had like a 20-minute wait.
Yeah,
which was shocking.
And we've done that before too. Boma, some of those resort ones, especially for breakfast.
And I think the buffets help.
Yeah, you can just sometimes get away with it. They don't care as much.
Now, I'd also say if it's anywhere near fireworks, you best have plans. So if you are Epcot and you're trying to do Spice Road or La Hacienda San Angel, and the Rose and Crown in England, those are ones that you're going to want to have reservations for if you're trying to catch the Happily Ever After fireworks and you are not on Magic Kingdom property, or even if you are on Magic Kingdom property, making sure that you have reservations. So that's Ohana, that is the California Grill at the Contemporary. All of those guys are going to go away really quick.
Fast. Yeah.
Plan.
And you get no benefit for staying at that resort.
No.
So don't think that's going to be a thing because you're staying there.
And don't think you can't get a reservation because you're not staying there either. So regardless of whether you're staying off property or at a value or at the resort itself.
Yes, you can stay at a value and
do it.
And go to Victoria and Albert's if you want. Like these are things you can do, and in fact, that might be a good way to save money to go to Victoria and Albert's.
For the future.
For the future. Yeah. No, I want to do the contemporary that trip. So anyway, we'll get there. But anyway, yeah.
The presidential suite of the.
It's gonna be awesome.
I saw a video of the presidential suite at the contemporary.
Stupid.
It is amazing.
One day.
It's like 4,000 square feet.
Sure, it's just.
And they have 3 balconies overlooking Magic Kingdom for the fireworks. 3 individual balconies. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But anyways, that's something else. That's something else. Next time period that you need to be heavily aware of is the 60-day out mark. And you should have been doing a lot of research up to that point in time on a specific thing, and we have a video set up for it, and that's your fast passes.
Yes. And I think I've given a cautionary tale in the past in our Fast Pass episode, but you do not want to miss that. And if you have a big group, get people, if you can get everyone organized to the point where everyone knows what rides that everyone wants to go on, and you group up and do it in small groups, so the thrill seekers do a group or something. You got to get it done. And if you want to go together, you got to make sure you make those reservations at the same time. It's just critical.
Now, this is also where a lot of research comes into, not just to know what fast passes to get, but also figuring out how to work the system. So here's a couple tricks, let's just say, on how to do this. So we did a video about fast passes, and check it out. Or not a video, a podcast.
It's just audio in this one.
Yeah, it's just audio.
We'll figure
on that
it out one day. We'll get them all synced up. But.
And that one gives you explanations on everything, how to judge rides, know what rides to get fast passes on, but a couple extra tips. So if you are going with a family that has a child that might be under rider height, so things like you're trying to do the Toy Story Land and you have a kid that does not meet the height requirements for Slinky Dog Dash.
Sure.
One parent or a couple people, depending on who you're going with, can get the fast pass for that one.
Okay.
And have the other parent or a couple other people get the fast pass for like swirling saucers. And then what you do is there's the rider switch program. So you go up as a family and you're saying, I have a fast pass for this. My wife's staying out here. Can we get the rider switch? And that automatically triggers essentially a free fast pass for that other parent that's first starting out. And then you then can go to the other ride where the other parent has that fast pass, do the rider switch again, and then everybody can, and then everybody's able to go on without having to queue up for that big long line.
Wow, okay.
So that's one way to do it. There's also a couple other not so ethical ways. I don't recommend cutting the line. You can get kicked out of Disney for cutting the line. If you have to go to the bathroom, though, you don't lose your spot in line. That's something to think about. So you can...
How do you play that? How does that work?
So say that you're there with a kid or something and you've been waiting in line and all of a sudden they have to go to the bathroom. What you do is you go up to the front of the line, excuse me, or just the next person that come wherever people are stationed. If it's a really long line like Pandora, you know, they're going to have multiple cast members throughout the line, but you go up to the next one and say, hey, I need to take my child to the bathroom. What do I do? They'll say, go for it. Here's the closest bathroom, and then come back normally through the fast pass lane and catch up with the rest of your party up there. But if it's just you and your kid or whatever, you can just kind of...
So we've entered a moral gray area.
But this is one where you want to be careful that you're not taking advantage of everybody. Like I said, if you're obviously cutting line, Disney will kick you out, and I don't want that to happen to you.
Yes. Do not do stuff like that.
But if something does happen where, like I said, the kid needs to go to the bathroom, kids can't hold their bladder for 2 hours or something like that.
Ian can't hold his bladder for 2 hours.
Good to know.
Having memories of Pandora. Anyway, moving on. And they had water bottle stations.
There are other options for you, though. So knowing that you don't have to start all the way back at point A is helpful, too. So figuring out your fast passes, figuring out what your plan of attack's going to be once you already know what parks you're going to, how you're going to play out the fast passes. Again, don't get a fast pass for the first hour that the park's open because you can rope drop it and get onto those hard to get rides right away without having to waste a fast pass.
Yeah.
And then try using that rolling fourth fast pass after you're all done.
Let's see what you can get into.
So I think I want our strategy for Epcot to be we rope drop Frozen.
Love that.
Just because that's one that we're not going to waste a fast pass on.
No, I don't want to spend fast
but
pass on
I like the breakdown of the Maelstrom ride, and it's the same actual footprint, and if we can do it without
basic ride mechanics.
If we can do it without having to waste a fast pass, I'd like that.
Sure.
So I think that's hopefully what we might possibly do if I can convince Kevin to go on Frozen.
We brought up Frozen again.
We did.
It was you this
we
time.
didn't do it last round, though. Yay, us!
Yeah, we did.
For the Not So Scary?
Oh, no, not so scary. No, we didn't. We did not.
Win.
Good for us.
Good for us. We made it one show.
One whole show.
Anyways, and any other 60-day markers that you need to think about?
I'm trying to think. 60-day. I mean, obviously by this point you would have figured out your hotel.
Well, and that was before you're going to Disney.
Yeah, you would have figured all this stuff out anyway.
The big thing on this one, though, is you are going to want to get up early to set these fast passes. I cannot stress that enough.
What time did you get up?
6 o'clock in that Central Time. And so that was technically 7 o'clock Disney time. Mm-hmm. And there were already fast passes taken.
DST, Disney Standard Time.
Not to mention that when your 60-day mark for your first day hits, you can plan all of the fast passes. Yes. So you're not stuck at the 60-day mark. So those people who have long vacations could plan out their high-end fast passes, for day 5, 6, and 7, even though they're technically sitting on those days at 64 and 65.
Right.
They can still choose them. So get there early. There may be a line.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, on the app, and you get what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Shoosh. At the 30-day mark, you want to have your room already figured out, like he said, and your magic bands figured out. So this one's yours.
Oh, good.
And this one's mine. And what are magic bands? Magic bands are your everything for Disney.
They are from a technical standpoint, they are an RFID-based near-field passive band. And it means that Disney's stuff that wireless communication stuff can pick them up as you go by, either in a near field or slightly farther field setup.
So this is your room key. This is your park key. This is your shopping. This is your photo pass. This is how they know that you have fast passes. This is your everything for Disney. And you get these for free when you stay on property. And the nice thing about it is they come in this size here, and they expand pretty far.
Yep.
But the other thing is if you notice here, now this is just for the visual peeps, if you notice, they have 2 different colors on them. Okay? And if you go like these, I'm going to destroy this one because I have a different plan for it, and pop out the color, you have a child's band. Now, my fingernails are not working, so I can't.
You can see it though. The way, well, unless you're just listening.
Unless you're just listening.
You've got the color that you have, the green part, and then you've got the gray part that makes it longer. So if you have a kid-sized hand or kid-sized wrist for the person, you would just take out the green section, and it would be.
This is so difficult to do live. I can't.
This was the mistake we made, was doing this live.
My nails are not working. Anyways, it happens. But then that gives you the possibility to go super small. Super small.
Yeah,
you can fit it on an infant's wrist.
Yeah, way,
like super
way down.
duper tiny.
Yeah.
Itty bitty. So don't feel like you're not going to have something that'll fit the family. Another thing to think about with the magic bands is, do you want to actually have yet another bracelet on? Now, I use a smartwatch, and Disney has decided to offer these magic buddies where you can take the center puck out of these 2.0s and put them into something that you can attach to your watch or like a little side clip. But there's a different company, and I dropped it, that we have that's actually local to us.
Yes.
And so I got to meet them and interviewed them a little bit, and they're amazing, and they make these magic buddies. Now I have one here, looks like Figment. Look, so cute. And in his tummy area, that's where you would unscrew the puck from your magic band and put it into your magic buddy. Kevin has one that looks like the Infinity Gauntlet, and so his magic band is essentially the big gem that's on the back of the glove.
Yep.
And they look super awesome.
That's very cool.
And they're local, and so I have a little interview that I did with them, so I'm going to enter it here. So if I can first start off, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Jackson, and I founded Believe Dream Imagine.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I'm Daryl. I'm Jackson's dad. It's here for support.
Wonderful. So then tell me a little bit about your company.
It started about a year ago. We just hit our 1 year anniversary, and it's they're made by using 3D printers.
Nice.
It started with fidget spinners, and that's how we created our funding. Back when fidget spinners were kind of
A popular
fad.
thing, right?
Yeah. And then we turned into something that was more of my passion, which is Disney. We go twice a year with my family, my dad here, and then my mom and sister as well. And I created Magic Band Buddies through my love of creating stuff and Disney. And they started because my sister always complained about having a sweaty wrist, and they weren't fashionable. So that's kind of how the idea started. And our first one designed was Dumbo for my sister.
Oh, nice. I like that. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Wasn't that amazing, guys? And they're local, and they're honestly really sweet. It was the son who came up with the idea, and they've only been around for about a year and a half because the 2.0s have only been around for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I'm still fighting this thing.
I wouldn't even bother. You're done.
Going to do it. Okay.
And the people that are listening probably are going to be totally baffled by
Still
what's
working
happening.
on the.
She's really trying to get. Oh, I see. Hold on.
See that little tabby guy?
Oh, look at this. Now we're just way in it.
I just can't undo that. Just the plastic's being difficult. Oh. Here, let's finish it on the video. Whoop.
And there you go.
So this part came off. You get just the pure color, and then it goes all the way itty bitty down to baby size. See?
That is a really
That is
baby.
very tiny.
Do you think your baby needs to get into the hotel room on its own? Because that's pretty
No,
surprising.
but if
I know,
like a
they get
kid wanders
off.
away
No,
or something along
I
those
get why they do it,
lines,
but
it's
it is
important to know.
pretty comical how small it is.
It is. Also, at about the 30-day mark, if you need transportation as far as you're not able to walk the parks, planning your scooter or other device that you're going to use is very helpful as well. I do not use the scooters that Disney offers at the parks for a couple different reasons. One, they're super expensive. Daily, the price is $50 with a $25 damage fee. Now, they do return that $25, so technically it's only $75 or $25, but it feels like $75 when you get it, and you're not allowed to take them outside of the parks. So if you're dead walking and you have to leave that at the parks and still get to your transport and then get to your room, that becomes very exhausting. So there are a number of different companies that you can rent scooters from, and they will drop them off at your resort. And I have one. I'm not going to name the company because
Name redacted.
every single company that I've rented from so far, there's been a hilarious situation that's happened. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to bash anybody because it's not their faults. But they will drop the scooter off at the front desk before I even get there. So it's waiting for me and I can take it anywhere. The buses will let me take it. Most of the boats will let me take it. The monorail I can get on with the scooter. I can go anywhere on Disney property with the scooter. Disney Springs, any place. And then I don't have to worry about giving it back. And they're as low as like $25-$30 a day.
Oh, that's not bad.
Versus $75.
And they drop it off?
And they drop it off and they pick it up. So you don't have to worry about transporting it to and from this rental place. They take care of everything.
And Disney's fairly cool with that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because they want the old people to be able to come too and spend money there.
Right. No, I suppose it's just another vehicle to get you running around, and they only offer it in the park, like, proper.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I have a scooter that I rent every time I'm down there, and it allows me to be able to do the things I want to do and keep up with my friends and family without being there only like a half an hour or being exhausted before I even get through front gate. And it's really helpful. It's really helpful.
I'll have to shake my tendency to be a Disney speed walker, because that's a thing that I do.
There might be like a rabbit level on that versus turtle. I know that the companies that I normally rent from take off the horn. They disable the horn so you can't go beep beep.
That's hilarious.
Nope.
That's funny.
So that's a good time to plan that as well. Gives them a chance to be able to make sure that it's at the resort for you, waiting by the time you get there. A number of the companies that I've worked with, like I said, they've been really good about, like, I had a situation and they left a replacement at my hotel. They were willing to come out to the park, but we were too far away, and then the timing was going to be off, and so we didn't actually end up having them do it at the park. We just had me pushed in a wheelchair, but they met me at the resort and took the old scooter, and I had the new scooter, and
nice.
So there was that easy transition too. So if you need any sort of assistance walking for any period of time, get a scooter. I can't tell you how much that saves me, especially when you're walking around those parks. You're averaging 10 miles a day.
Easy.
Yeah.
I know that and to be fair, I was on the high end last time because we were pushing it.
Yeah, you were doing like 3 parks a day.
We were, on average at least 2, and we were pushing about 28,000 steps a day.
That's ridiculous.
I walked, I believe the total number was about 40 miles in 5 days.
No, thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, it's a thing, and I will bring my nice walking shoes. But that's not necessarily an option for everybody. So
no.
It's a good thing to be ready for, because you will walk a lot. There's a lot of movement going on.
Even if you're going to Disney Springs,
yep.
People don't realize how big,
it's pretty big
a complex that is.
It's gotten bigger.
Or if you're staying at the value resorts, the value resorts are a great place to be able to save money, but the bus only drops you off at like 3 stops, and then you have to walk the entire length of the resort to get to your room sometimes.
It's like 5 or 6 blocks to get to your room sometimes. And then you have to walk all the way back to get coffee. Like it's
because there's not one in the room. Okay,
it's
moving on.
Crazy. Anyway. Moving on.
Another idea to think about is if you are having children, bringing a stroller. Mm-hmm. I don't care how old your children are. If they are 6 or under, I would recommend having a stroller, because walking that long,
they're going
to die.
Now, if you have, and this was just the way my family did it when I was young, we always did park hoppers, and we always did a 2-park day. And so we'd have a early morning, and then by early afternoon we'd have just a chill and soak your feet kind of time. Mm-hmm. And then we would have like an evening in a park, so we'd get there at like 4:30 and have dinner, and then finish out the night in that park.
Okay.
So if you're in that world, you can do the 2-park day and then have a break in the middle to just like get off your feet. Mm-hmm. That's definitely viable. I don't think that I was ever in a stroller, but I may never have been young enough to really need it. I think the earliest I went was 6.
Okay.
So.
But you can, again, rent strollers from Disney. They're going to be expensive. A lot of people have, they bring their own strollers. One tip that I heard, because I don't have kids, so therefore I haven't used it, but it sounds really good to me is Amazoning one of those collapsible strollers, one of those really like umbrella strollers.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like $20 on Amazon instead of $20 a day, $15 a day at the parks, where again you have to leave them and have the kid walk with you.
What do you do with the stroller when you're done?
And that's something that was brought up too. And they're like, find a family that's just moving in and give it to them and gift it to them.
There you go. The stroller that just like keeps on giving. See how long you can get to go through. That's actually an interesting
Saving
concept.
money at Disney is important. And all of
like,
a sudden, if there's like, free stroller.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of like going camping and people living like a thing of firewood. It's like the same. It's like, aw, you left me a thing. It's nice. Anyway.
Yep.
So yeah.
So choose your magic bands. Choose your walking assistance if you need it.
Yep.
And the other thing that you can get for free if you wanted are the little Disney decals on the back of your car. They'll send you out free decals for your trip, which is something that I just found out about. I don't want it on my car, but I found out about it. And so depending on, your size of your family, there's a link to be able to get the free Disney decal. And that's the one that has like the round face with like the little Mickey ears on it that you might see occasionally on cars that are driving by. And that's completely free for you. So you can have like an entire stick figure family with Mickey ears basically showing off that you're going to Disney.
Because why not?
Yay, free things.
Yeah.
Disney doesn't do free things often, so that's one little nice perk.
I will say your magic bands, when they arrive, come in the coolest box thing.
So we have one here, and Kevin was really excited. He's like, I know this is addressed to you, but I'm going to open it anyways. And hiding my actual address, but it's just a basic box, white, nothing really that interesting. But then you open it up, and there's the full, like, castle, and it says your names that you choose for your magic bands
make your
down
name whatever
here.
you want it to be.
And then they have them lined up in the little slots there, so it's really neat. And it makes you feel super special.
And if I recall, does it not also come with... Oh, it didn't come with the you didn't get the... And then that side?
No.
Oh. Well, when I got them, they came with little luggage tags.
Oh, the luggage tags came separate.
Oh, they did?
Yep,
okay.
and that's at the next level that I was going to be talking about, which is 20 days out. 20 days out, you're going to be getting luggage tags, and that's only if you're staying on property again, but that's the way to get the Magical Express to take your bags from the airport and deliver them to your hotel room so you don't have to worry about it.
And it's awesome. That is like one of the most magical things. You literally you walk off. Anyway, yeah, so we're moving into the 20-day out thing.
Yep, we're at the 20 days.
So when you get in, if you do the Magic Express, and is that when do you schedule the Magic Express? I guess we should.
You want to schedule that probably at least, I think it's like 30 days out, 60 days out. I can't remember. Ours was done like 90 days out because the DVC friend that we were renting points from took care of it for us as soon as we got the airline set up. But all you do is call. I've done that before for the other stays that I've been at.
Do it early if you can. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they'll be able to give you these yellow tags. They're stickers. You wrap them around the handle just like the airports do to signify what plane you're on, and then you drop them off at the entrance to the airport, like when you're getting ready to head to your plane terminal.
Just like you normally would.
And then you don't see them again until you hit the hotel room. And you can also put them on your checked bags, your carry-ons, everything. And I think what I'm going to probably end up doing is if they offer we'll check your carry-on bag for you for free, I might do that, because then we can just head straight to Disney Springs, which is our plan. Day one, we get there and we're going to Disney Springs.
Right.
And so I don't have to worry about carrying it to the hotel room if our hotel room's not available.
Right.
And it'll just show up at the room. I'll have the stuff that I need in the backpack that I'm bringing.
Yep.
And so I'll be all taken care of if it takes, a couple hours to get to me. But that's my plan.
No, it's a really, really neat service. And when we did it that one time on the way in with the bags that got checked, it's, you just don't have to worry. You just don't have bags. You don't have to do any ground transport with bags. And if you've ever done anything in Orlando before, you have to get around, and they do a good job. It's a well put together airport, but it's pretty amazing just to like walk off the plane and have to deal with nothing. It's pretty awesome.
Now that we're getting close to you're going to actually be there in the next few weeks, this is important time to start figuring out what you're bringing and packing and what you're not. Some quick tips and tricks about that are you don't need to pack any toiletries. Disney has an amazing line of shampoos, conditioners, soaps, lotions, everything. It's not like your generic
in your room.
It's not your generic nasty stuff. And it's like people actually buy it to bring it home because it's so good. They have their own like beautician area for it and everything. It's like H2O Disney or something like that.
Right. And obviously there's reasons and exceptions that you would want to bring some toiletries if you have a specific kind of shampoo you need, or you have to bring medication, or whatever. There's reasons to bring it.
But if you
just have your standard shampoo, conditioner, body wash, there's no need to try to pack it up.
Disney's is wonderful.
Camping. Yeah.
Again, you also don't have to worry about bringing towels because there's plenty of towels all around your resort. In fact, if you run out of towels in your room, go down to the pool and steal them from there. Nobody's going to say anything. It's true.
Or you just call the room thing and they do that too.
Exactly.
Option.
Some things that you want to think about to save money are souvenirs. Do you want to buy souvenirs there, which can be super expensive, or do you want to are the souvenirs for you or are they for kids? Let's start there. If they're for you, then you can spend whatever money you want, and I'm not your mom. But if you're spending money,
maybe she is.
If you're spending money on your kids there, sure, have one or two things that you'll buy, but kids are just happy to be there and experience. And this is the perfect time to, when you're going to meet characters, one of the best souvenirs to have is like an autograph book. And my favorite trick for this is don't get a Disney autograph book just because it's boring. It's blank pieces of paper that they write on. Get a character book. I Amazoned one last year and it cost me $10 whole. And these characters are so familiar with these books because so many people bring them that they know exactly what page they're on, and they'll sign it and it'll actually give details of the character because they're signing on their picture and everything. It's a wonderful addition that gives a little bit more meaning behind it than just a blank piece of paper. And those characters will also sign anything you bring them. Bring them photographs. Bring them like a pillow cover. And then your kid can have a pillow cover that's covered in signatures from all their favorite characters to sleep on at night.
Right.
Shirts, clothes, doesn't matter. They'll sign anything. Bring your own markers though, and big ones, big fat ones, because some of those hands have a hard time holding on to tiny pens. So Sharpie markers, especially the big ones, are helpful.
Yeah.
But that's a really cheap souvenir to have. Another thing to do is go to the character warehouses. Those are Disney outlet stores. Disney has outlet stores. Some of them are even in Orlando. There are 2 in Orlando alone.
Okay.
And you can go there and get legit park merchandise that used to be in the parks, or there's an overabundance, and so they just ended up at the outlet store. Pick it up. Don't show your kid right away. And then when your kid starts whining in a store that they want something, hand them that. And it's going to be a lot cheaper, and it's just going to be just as meaningful. It's still from Disney. It's still from the parks. And they can take that home instead of paying for something full price that they're just gimme because they see it right there.
Right. Even though there's something to be said about the experience of getting it, especially as a kid, getting it when you see it, like I get the issue there, but if you can pull it off, do it.
If you can afford it. Again, I'm not here to,
no, I mean, like,
budget bash you, but if I'm trying to save you a couple bucks, I'm going to.
If you can pull off being able to have the kid, be able to deal with it from the not getting it right there that moment, do it. Definitely do it.
But definitely a money saver. So I would recommend that. Or just get some Disney stuff and surprise. They don't know if it's from the parks. They're not going to pay attention. They're at Disney. It's Disney stuff. They get new stuff. They get new toys. Yes. Awesome. That's cool. If you're feeling sassy, with your money, you can also plan in-room decorations and parties. And what I mean by that is there's ways to put have flowers waiting in the room for a romantic weekend.
Aww.
Or if it's a birthday, they'll put balloons and you can get a cake. There's different levels of things too. Because it was my birthday last year when I went, I was looking at their Halloween options, and a stupid floating ghost balloon was $20.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
That's
a little pricey there, but
yeah, that's almost as much as a bottle of water there.
if you if you want in-room decorations, you can pay for them, but a lot of people bring their own too. They have, blue painter's tape. That's the tape to bring to put up anything that you need to take down. And they'll put up signs, they'll put things in the windows. And so when people are walking by your room, if you're walking past the outside where there's the big bay window, which happens in a lot of moderate and value
resorts,
you'll be able to see people's stuffed animals or pictures or all this other stuff. And it's kind of neat. I like seeing the individuality, especially since I don't feel like they're going to bust through the window and break it there just to steal something, because this is Disney.
Right. Well, one would hope.
Another big thing that I'm going to talk about as far as packing goes, bring a poncho. I can't stress this enough.
Don't buy a poncho there.
Don't buy a poncho there. It's Florida. It rains.
It probably will rain while you're there.
It probably will rain while you're there. That's the best time to be at a park, because you're not going to have any lines, because nobody's going to want to get wet on their vacation.
Yeah.
And if you try and get a poncho at Disney, it's going to cost you $10 versus you can get one at the dollar store here for, $1
Target,
or $2, doesn't
Walmart,
matter.
It's super cheap. Just don't
Pack a poncho.
Don't fall into that trap, because they will get you.
Same with sunscreen. Pack sunscreen. You don't really have to worry too much about mosquitoes. Now, I was down when the Zika virus happened, and then they actually provided bug screen for us.
Oh,
so we didn't have to pack it ourselves, but Disney's really good about keeping on top of it. Yeah, well, it was a lotion, but it was there, and they had different stations actually inside the parks too. So if it might have been wearing off, you could have had more.
Right, and the fact of the matter with bugs, you don't really see them. Mm-hmm. It's sort of shocking, because you're like, wow, I'm in the middle of the rainforest, and it's just
there's a swamp here.
We are in a swamp. This was built on swamp, and there's no bugs. What? So they do a very good job of keeping track of it, but if there's an issue, they will bring it up.
Yeah.
Make it work.
So, but sunscreen, if you try and buy sunscreen at the resorts or at the parks, they are going to gouge you for money. So please do not spend that there. There are other places to spend that precious, precious money.
Or is Amazon an option for that?
Yes, but theirs, again, is a little bit more pricey. Okay. I've looked at it versus, picking it up at Target before we head down. Okay. I would do that. If you can get around TSA, or, if you pick it up at a store if you're driving, that's super easy to do.
The one place it gets funny is when you're taking the Magic Express, you have no real access to the outside world unless you have a Lyft or an Uber or something. Mm-hmm. So...
And that's pretty much a good general overview of what your next steps are once you've decided you're going to Disney.
Yeah, once you've made that first step and you're actually made your reservations. Mm-hmm. Those are all the things, or many of the things you're going to want to think about.
There's a lot more that goes into it. Again, we're just trying to give you a broad look and prepare you.
Right.
I would highly recommend, if you're interested more in fast passes or in the Disney dining plan, we have podcasts for that. We have episodes for that, so check that out. If this is the first one that you've heard of this series, there is the So You Want to Go to Disney, figuring out how to plan a Disney trip.
From 2 weeks ago.
Yep, which talks about figuring out resorts, stays, length, everything, so check that one out.
Yeah.
And any other questions, though, feel free to throw them at us. Again, we are not paid before by Disney. We're not official Disney travel planners, but this is just from experience of our vacations. Reach out to us. Be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Absolutely.
And on that note, my name's Crystal.
And I'm Ian.
And I hope you have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Great, big, beautiful tomorrow, just a dream away.